One of the deadliest battles of the Revolutionary War, the Battle of Fort Freeland, is a fantastic example of American grit and determination. Held up in a house on a farm, these settlers fought to their last bullet. Against a force 4 times bigger than their own, the settlers showed the true power of American will before America was official. Early in 1778, George Washington sent Major John Sullivan to go fight the Iroquois at the frontier. The British Loyalists and Native Americans banded together to attack the colonists. This started the Great Runaway. This was a mass evacuation of colonists living in the frontier because their houses were getting burned down by these British and Native Americans. This led many of the evacuators to go to Fort Freeland, which he created. Fort Freeland is, during this time, a house that is surrounded by a giant wall.
So in the months leading up to the battle, tensions were rising. Near the fort, 7 militiamen were killed or captured by British and Native Americans, and a couple of miles north, in Muncie, 12 settlers who had nothing to do with battles were also killed and captured. Later, in July, 5 members of the fort, all young and children, like teens and children really, were sent out to get some corn to feed. 3 of them, Isaac Vincent, Elias Freeland, and Jacob Freeland Jr., were killed, where Michael Freeland and Benjamin Vincent were captured by the British and held for over a year. Later on that month of July, a couple of days, about a little over a week after this happened, the actual battle began. Now this was a bloodbath. There were 121 people living in Fort Freeland at the time. Many of them, women and children, a couple of militiamen, none trained nearly to the degree that they had to be. They were taken over by Captain John MacDonald's force of 100 British regulars and 300 Senecas, Indians, led by Hiokatu, the husband of Mary Jemison.
This is a first-hand account of Captain John MacDonald. Tioga, Point 5th, August 1779. Sir, I have the pleasure to inform you of the success of the Indians, and the detachment I had the honor to command against the West Branch. After a very tedious, fatiguing march over mountains and through woods almost impenetrable, we came in upon the settlements the 27th in the evening, continued our march all night, and invested a small place called Fort Freeland earlier in the morning. The then frontier post occupied upon the river. At 10 o'clock the fort surrendered by capitulation. A copy of the terms I have sent herewith. The garrison consisted of 1 sergeant and 12 privates of the Continental troops and 20 of the militia, commanded by 1 of the commissioners of the county.
After the initial just destruction of the people in the fort, they were then brought some relief from Captain Hawkins Boone. He came up from Boone's Fort, a few miles to the southwest of Fort Freeland. However, he only brought a couple of militias with him, still nothing against the towering force of the British and Native Americans. He was then also crushed. After all these battles, 108 people had been killed, and Mr. Benjamin Franklin was quoted as saying in the Pennsylvania Gazette, talking about how brave the defenders of the Warrior Run were.